I have lived as a minimalist for 7 years, and still every big life change almost knocked me off track, be it a move, a new job, or now the pregnancy. In those moments, stuff gets pushed at you from every side. For every phase, there are supposedly 1,000 things that you need right now. But after 7 years, I've learned one thing. You can skip almost all of it. But the hardest part is to actually do that, to skip it. Because when we shop in those moments, we really just want one thing, to get the control back. When life changes fast, we feel helpless, we feel unstable and out of control. Buying something gives you that control back for a moment. It feels productive. You're holding something, you're doing something. But what we actually need is very different. We need safety, we need comfort, we need stability. So the first question isn't what should I buy, but instead, how do I create that stability without buying anything new? And this brings us to my first tip. Set anchors. That means to keep some things exactly the same, on purpose. When so much is changing, don't change everything else too. Instead, build small daily rituals that give you stability. The same breakfast, the same outfit formula, or I, for example, love playing the same song over and over. One thing matters here. This anchor doesn't have to be something new that fits your new life. It isn't about starting to meditate every morning. It's actually the opposite. It's about keeping something that already feels safe to you. And while we're on new habit, here is the second big point. In these phases, cut your commitments on purpose. Because what do we usually do when we feel lost? We distract ourselves. We pile on even more. We decide that now we also want to lose weight or start working out or meditating. All of this just to get the control back. And that is exactly the wrong move. New commitments work when we are in a stable life phase. But when everything around us is chaos, we have to do the opposite. Cutting everything that isn't necessary. And maybe now you're thinking, but all of it is necessary. I have to do it all. Really look at your to-do list. Most of it isn't necessary. Usually, very little actually is. Let's look at my own life as an example. I want to move a lot during the day. I want to work out 3 times per week. I want to cook fresh meals. I want to be successful with my consulting company. I have this YouTube channel. Then there is social media where I could be posting. And I want to go to the library, borrow books, read and keep learning. Now ask yourself, which of these really matter? The answer is just my consulting company because it pays me the rent. Everything else, it can be turned down for now. And even healthy eating isn't that important in that moment. If I only eat tomato pasta for a few weeks, it is not a disaster. If I don't move for 4 weeks, even though I usually do, who cares? It's really not that bad. And here's the wild part. When you actually go through your list, it hits you. I actually barely have to do anything. That feeling is so freeing, especially when your life feels unstable. You calm down, your nervous system settles, and a relaxed nervous system that isn't in panic mode is all we want for now. So far, you've taken some pressure off the situation. You've shrunken your mental list. And you can see that we often buy just because it does feel productive. But what should you actually do now? Because many life changes do come with some things that you really need. And that's fine. It's part of the process. The question is, how do we buy without overbuying? The answer is simple. Research deeply before you buy anything. Let me use my pregnancy as an example. You can apply it to any situation though. Early on, I saw this ad and I stupidly bought a pregnancy jumpsuit. I thought, cool, I need this when my belly grows. Turns out, a maternity jumpsuit is one of the dumbest buys because when you are pregnant, you need to visit the bathroom about 20 times a day. So here is the reminder for you and for me. Research first and make a list with everything you want before you buy anything. When I do that list at first, I usually end up with what feels like 100 must-have items. And that's a great thing because it will look so overwhelming to me that I don't want to buy anything anymore. So don't look at things one by one. Look at the whole picture. Once you created this list, put it away and gather as much information as possible about your new life situation. Let me explain this with another real life situation, a breakup. You don't just lose a person, you lose your daily life, your routines, the whole future you had pictured. And the first instinct is often to buy your way out of that emptiness. New clothes, a new look, anything that feels like a fresh start. But I remember in my early days of minimalism, when I went through a breakup, I didn't start buying anything. I put everything on a wish list, went to the library and borrowed some books around relationships and breakups. What happens in the brain during a breakup? How do we fall in love? And what does it need to unlove a person? I remember I read that this person takes up so much space in your brain now, but if you completely cut any communication, eventually this space they use up in your brain, it does get smaller and smaller. So all you can do is cut this person out and wait. That is what you need to do during a breakup and not shopping, because shopping things won't solve your problems. It's just gonna clutter up your apartment and waste your money. So whenever you go through a life transition, get an overview first. What areas are there? What is it really about? Figure that out before you buy anything. While we are on researching, here is something just as important. Don't let a topic take over your whole life. At first, I got a little too deep into my pregnancy. Soon, it felt like everything was about it. And 9 months is a very long time. So I set clear time windows on purpose. Windows where I am allowed to focus on it and windows where I am not. That was so nice because if you do have less available time, you end up researching only the most important stuff. And here is a small tip. Never research at night. I got that wrong a few times. At night, my brain is like a sieve. It can barely push anything back. Almost all my bad buys happened at night. So I have a rule. I do no research after 7 p.m. And if that doesn't work for you due to work, one longer session on the weekend works just as nicely. So let's do a quick recap. You focus on knowledge more than on buying. You set clear times. You make your wish list, but you don't buy anything yet. And at night, you stop researching. Now, on that wish list you created, add one more question. What do you actually want to spend your money on? Not what does everyone else do, but what truly matters to you. Take a new job, for example. Is it really important to show up in a perfect new outfit every day? Or does your boss maybe care more that you do good work? Maybe your time is better spent learning something about a company, adding value, and staying with the clothes you already own. Then, see how often you really go to the office and what does feel comfortable to you. Looks are often very overrated in my opinion. If your job needs a certain look, let's say flight attendant or front desk, they will give you the clothes anyway. And if the only way you stand out at work is your clothes, you probably won't get very far. Another example people usually go crazy is a wedding or another big party. Get really clear about what you want. Forget about what society expects from you. It's your money, your life, and your decision. Don't let marketing, Pinterest, or your friends guide you. I hereby give you permission to do only what you truly want. Okay, so you created your little wish list, but you haven't bought anything so far. And for now, that's how we keep it. I know it can feel so urgent to buy everything immediately, but it is not urgent. The best thing about having this list and not buying anything is that now you can start asking around. Can maybe someone borrow you some of the things so you can test it first? From my baby wish list, we ended up only buying 2 items. Everything else we could borrow from friends. I paid them a small rental fee, so it's a win-win for both parties. The cool thing about borrowing stuff during life changes is that you can test it and see if it actually works how you imagine it. Because very often we do romanticize products. The advertisement looks amazing, but in the end, there has been only very few items that actually changed my life. But not only can you borrow some of the items on your list, but you can also challenge your list. Ask your friends for their recommendations and opinions. This makes the whole process so much more fun. So here's the point. Make the list, then see what you can borrow and what you can buy used. Buying new is just the very last option. And that brings us to one of the most important points. Get it working first, and then make it perfect later. This is about that loss of control again. A lot of people think if I find the perfect system now, I'll have it all under control. But let me tell you from real life experience, you won't find the perfect system while the change is still fresh. You can only build a perfect system over time, not before and not right at the start. So cross that off in your head. You just don't have enough data yet. You have to live with it first. Here are two real-life examples. We still haven't picked a stroller because I don't know yet how my life with a baby will look like. What will our routine be? Will I still walk a lot? Will I walk in nature more or in the city? Or will I be just sitting more in the garden? There is so much I don't know yet. It only becomes clear once the situation is actually here, and we can order a stroller in a couple days. With a move, for example, you don't have to toss it all. Take what fits into your new place. Sure, you can use the moment to declutter, but it doesn't all have to be set up at day one. In our new apartment, we just put an old mattress on the floor at first. We slept there, and we checked, do we feel good here? Does the bed placement work? Live first and then perfectionize the setup later. Build temporary systems, and anything that doesn't need a decision right now, just don't decide it yet. And that brings me back to the most important point from the start. Don't confuse buying with progress. Just because you buy something doesn't mean you have changed anything. You haven't controlled the situation and you haven't made any progress. Buying notebooks and journals doesn't make you organized. Buying workout clothes doesn't make you fitter. Buying kitchen gadgets doesn't make you cook more. And buying business clothes doesn't make you better at your job. So next time your life changes, don't ask what you should buy. Ask, how can you create stability? Ask what you can cut out, what you can borrow, and protect your empty space. That saves you the clutter and the money. And you'll move to the change a lot more calmly. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye!